Hi, this is Surendra Jaishekhar, founder and CEO of Success Gyan. I welcome you to one more edition of Success Talks with Suren. This is episode number 10. As you all know how this started. When lockdown started, I sat with my team and said, what can we do to inspire our community? And I said, why can't we call our teachers, mentors who have inspired us, have a conversation with them so that we can pick the timeless wisdom and give it back to the community. That is how Success Talks with Suren started. Till date, we have done 9 Success Talks with Suren. Our goal was to reach 1 crore people. That was our goal. And instantly, today morning, I just checked, we had more than 11.5 lakh people who have watched the last 9 Success Talks with Suren. So I want to thank each one of you for supporting us because our mission is to inspire 1 crore people. And thank you for sharing and letting more people get inspired. Who do we have today? Okay. And normally when I introduce a person, I tell them what they've achieved, what they've done. But this is going to be a very different introduction because I've actually seen this person's journey from where he was to what he is today. So instead of telling what is accomplished, I'm going to tell few things which I feel every single person who's met Siddharth Rajshekhar will tell. He's simple, he's real, he's authentic, he's a pure soul. So Siddharth Rajshekhar, welcome to Success Talks with Suren. I thank you for taking your time and your opening remarks.
Thank you so much, Suren. First of all, my gratitude to you. You've played a major part in my journey over here. And I don't know about the pure soul part. I have a long way to go, but I just want to say that it has been an amazing journey of, working on myself and even, dropping that ego at different stages in my life that has actually helped me, unveil another layer of myself that I never knew possible. So I'm really looking forward to this interview and, share with people and just to tell people that, it does not matter where you come from. Anybody can be successful. And I'm just a normal guy and following a system and it has worked for me. So thank you so much, Suren. I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you so much, Siddharth, because I remember I've mentored quite a few people. There's one person I feel super proud helping is you. Because when you became successful, it was like more beautiful than my success. So I really want to thank you for being so authentic, real, and walking the talk and working on yourself and today being an inspiration to the whole community. Okay. So before we said, so thank you so much for being here. And guys, you're going to have a brilliant 1 hour. So I really want you guys to start chatting, commenting, and tell me what are your takeaways. So as Siddharth always says, can we bring it on? BIO, type BIO in the chat box. Okay, the first question, Siddharth. Today you're super successful. But when you look back, there's certain events which must have happened in your life, which I call the key defining moments where your life changes. Can you share with us few key defining moments in your life?
Yes, Suren. I can think of 3 moments, like very specifically on this journey. Yeah. The first of those moments was attending Train the Trainer with Blair Singer. And that was one of those events that really opened up the whole aspect of what is leadership. I mean, what is a real trainer? Because everyone, it's very easy to take knowledge and just share information and just speak whatever comes to their mouth. But Blair is one of those people who I am eternally, grateful to for really bringing out that leader in me, because he was able to go to those moments and speak some things that were so real that helped me reflect on myself. So the first part was breaking through during the Train the Trainer event, during all those exercises and processes. And that was where, things started to change. And I got a real view of what is, leadership in this space. And the second moment was making the stage, which was the next level. It was in Bangkok, Phuket. It was in Thailand, Phuket. Even you were there. And I'll tell you one of those moments where he was working on me. Blair was working on me. And then I was just like, social media guy and talking about, how I'm helping companies with campaigns and this and that. And as I was speaking, he said, stop. And then I was like, okay. And then I used a line where I was telling that I've been the wind beneath the wings of many successful people and campaigns. And he asked me, why are you the wind beneath the wings? Why are you saying that? I mean, he was able to pick up some energy in me where I was playing a smaller game in my life. And he said, you are not meant to be the wind beneath the wings. You are meant to be the plane. And then he immediately asked me, who has been one of the biggest inspirations in your life? Who has been the plane in your life, in your journey? The first flash that came to my mind was my grandpa, because he really helped so many people. And then he asked me one thing. He said, would your grandfather speak like this? Would this be his energy? And something happened in me at that moment. I said, no. He said, now I want you to speak like your grandfather. I want you to speak with his energy. And it's like from that moment, it was like a flip switch. I can tell you it is a Sid version 1.0 and 2.0 at that moment where I realized that he said that now it is time for you to step into your power and not be the wind beneath the wings. You have to create the wings for many other people. And that was a huge shift for me, because I was just trying to be I would say the people pleaser, the good guy, just helping everyone, and the service mindset coming from a spiritual background. All this, and that seva mindset is always there. I don't want to be in the front spotlight. Let everyone be in the front. That kind of thing was there until this moment happened. And I'm so glad that Blair brought that out of me at that moment. And he linked it to my congruent side, which is my real inspiration is my grandfather. And that's why I always share my grandfather's story every time, because I get my inspiration from him. So that was the second moment that was like a flip switch trigger moment in my life. And the third was, after running my agency for 5 to 6 years, grinding it, and I wanted to be my own boss, and like set up my own business, and but I realized that over a period of time, the agency business, I had like multiple bosses. I was not having the freedom, not having the flexibility, and it was good. It was a great journey and a stepping stone for me. But in 2018, when I pivoted from the whole services model to the product-based model, yes, I'm truly grateful and thankful to my business partner and the teams that helped me step into this journey. But when I moved into this space, which is so congruent to me, and when I won that contest, I'd won a contest, and I was flown to Miami. It was an affiliate contest. Over 200,000 participated. I hit the top 10 spot in the world, and I was the only Indian in that. And I won a fully paid trip to Miami, Florida, where I spent 2 full days along with my mentor. His name is Vic. He's from the US. So one whole day on a yacht, on a $40,000 a day yacht. And then the next day we spent the whole day in a boardroom discussing ideas and millionaire strategies for growing in the internet space. And that expanded my horizon. Like, even though I had knowledge about internet marketing for 3-4 years before that, it was not reflecting in my bank account. Yeah. It was not reflecting. I was a knowledgeable guy, and I was doing workshops after workshops. More than when I look at it, I've done 60 plus workshops, even before TTT. But it was really, but after TTT was a whole paradigm shift. Yes, and you know that journey.
Yeah,
You've seen me from 2012. So that trip to Miami expanded my awareness of internet marketing itself, and I realized that there is so much more to this game. And when I came back, again, I was not the same person. So the MTS shift helped me realize my true power. And this shift in Miami helped me realize the potential of the internet marketing space. And I came back, everything started to change. I mean, my bank account started to grow because I was looking at internet marketing from a different lens. It was not from a service-oriented lens. It was more from a scaling and a strategic lens, and more from a community building lens. It was not just, okay, I know internet marketing, let me build you funnels, let me do lead generation for you, versus, okay, how can I help people get the results, what they want on a magnified level? And so these were the 3 defining moments. TTT was the seed. MTS was the leadership flip switch. And the Miami experience was the expanded awareness in the internet marketing space.
Yeah. Siddharth, I've seen through you all 3 of the journeys. As you said, I know you from 2012, yes. And I've seen your worst lows, and I've seen you go to train the trainer, go to making the stage. And today, when you started Freedom, the journey, and I've seen all 3. And it's been such a phenomenal experience to see from where you've become, what person you've become, and what you're doing right now. Okay. And my next question, and we have been having this discussion regarding what is happening around us.
Yeah.
With COVID-19 lockdown, we feel the whole education system is going to completely change, because we always said that schooling is different from education. We understand that. Apart from that, now it's going to be a complete shift. What is your take on it? What do you think is going to happen in the education space?
Yeah, many of you may or may not know this, but I'm a college dropout myself. I'm not a graduate. Yeah. So even you, Suren, you did a polytechnic and you came out, right?
I've never did a degree. Yeah, same here.
So the fact here is that the education system, like even you have shared this on the stage, is that it was created during the industrial era. The Britishers created this to create workers and to make people employable. And all of us know this in theory. But now post-COVID, if you look at the situation, like 47 million jobs have been lost in the US. In fact, I did a video that went viral, like on the top 20 crashing industries and 15 industries that are growing. It really went viral. And what is the education system actually supposed to fulfill? It is supposed to equip people to fulfill the needs of society. But the needs of society are changing right now. The world is actually shifting. And which means that the system itself needs to change. So the traditional form of education is just creating workers, putting them into the workforce.
Yeah.
But now what I see happening is we are moving into the era of what I call as forced entrepreneurship. Everybody has to stand for themselves. They have to really find something which they can add value to this world. And even though they may, there will be jobs, all of that, but it will be very specialized. People who are truly valuable will only be there, because everything's moving into what I call as a gig economy right now. Like everything is gig based, like how you go drive, pay and go on an Uber from point A to point B. People are also going to start charging, just going to start paying people for projects. It's no more going to be like full-time employee roles. There will be, but this is the transition. So coming to the education system, what my thoughts on this is that first thing is we are going to see the rise of academies.
Yeah.
Rather than big universities, big buildings, big everything, paying like crazy capitation fees and all, it doesn't make any sense anymore. People have their life, they're spending to pay off the education loans. So that paradigm is moving now into the rise of online academies and specialized academies on various topics. And these academies can be either offline or even online. And definitely online is going to be the much better way to do it, because there's better interaction, unless the topic requires physical, practice and like practicals and things like that. So the first phase I see is everything's moving into the academy mode. E-learning is going to become a $325 billion industry by 2025. Forbes has already predicted that. And the education system, as I see it, it's more about practical knowledge. It's about experiential knowledge. Like all the mentors that I've learned from, even Vic, he comes from the ghettos. He used to live literally in the slums, and he's making over $1 million per month. So you see, knowledge is about learning from people who are doing. There are three elements to knowledge. You got to learn something, you got to do, and then when you teach, you learn, do, and teach simultaneously. It's a golden triangle of success. You can learn very fast. And most people in the college, in the regular education systems, they just learn, and probably with all due respect, most professors who teach business, they're not run a business. So they're just learning and they're teaching without the doing part. That's the big missing link. So now we're going to see the true teachers emerging, who are doing what they say. And those who do what they say, they're the ones who are going to be really creating an impact in the marketplace. Because for many of the subjects that you're seeing in today's day and age, by the time it gets approved and gets into a regular curriculum, and it's going to keep changing. It's going to change so fast. So that's why I would say rise of academies and the golden triangle is going to be the way to learn and teach.
Yes. I love the way you put it. It's very simple. Learn, do, teach is the way to go forward. And if people get it, it's a very simple formula. You learn, you do, and teach. And as you said, in the current system which we follow, there's no doing. And what we learn, things which are not relevant to us, right? When you go to school, I don't even know why I did trigonometry. I have no clue.
Seriously.
I have no idea why I learned calculus. I have no clue. Okay. So I think that is also going to change. Is schooling required? Yes, I believe schooling has got a very important play where you get to learn how to be with people, you get friends, you get an ecosystem, which is important. But do you get real education to live in this world? I don't think so. Because you don't learn about money, you don't learn about failures, you don't understand about relationships. Things which you really need to live in this world is not there. So as you said, I feel education is definitely going to change. I don't think people are going to pay Harvard degrees. They're going to pay $40,000, $60,000. That's gone. That will not happen the way I see next few years from now. And the gig economy, let's make people understand this. What is the gig economy? People are not going to get full-time jobs. They're going to find what does that require and find who can deliver at the best price and plug and play, which is going to change the whole world. And this is something 5-6 years is going to be relevant, but people who see it now will understand and how to upskill accordingly. Okay, I just want to cover last what he said. For people who are watching this, Train the Trainer, which he said is, we have a teacher called Blay Singer, who I call the magician. We call him the master of the masters. Rajiv Talreja, Siddharth, Karan Asija, Prachi, every trainer who I feel have really made it big, this thanks to Blair. That man is super authentic, a true soul, a true magician. And that's what Siddharth was referring of Train the Trainer and making the stage. Okay, Siddharth, now you spoke about education system. Now let's take it to the training industry. Because I've been in Success Gyan from 2012 when we did the first program. You've been there from 2012. You've seen what is happening in the training industry. With the COVID lockdown and things, we've seen a lot of people moving to the online space because they feel this is where to go. So what do you think is going to happen in the training industry and coaching industry?
Yeah, so it's like different waves. If you look at the first wave was in the era when, you know, all our big mentors, they rose, like the Robert Kiyosaki's, the Ivan Meisner's, the Jack Canfield. That was the first wave where the model was more on, speaking from the stages, inspiring Les Brown. That was the first way. I would say the whole 80s, 90s, we've seen the rise of the personal development industry and the coaching industry. In fact, it was not so big in India. Now it is actually, thanks to Success Gyan, thanks to many other initiatives that are exposing that. Then we saw the entire 2000 onwards, from 2000 all the way till now to 2020. In fact, 2010 to 2020 was the era where, the training from the speaking from the stages, large audiences, pretty much the Success Gyan model. I think you started in 2012, and that model was the way to go, and it will still continue. But due to COVID situation, the things are going to change. So now, as things are moving online from 2020 onwards, I think every trainer, every coach needs to start thinking in terms of online-based systems. When I say online, there are two parts to it. There's online courses, online coaching. And you can also there's a third element, is online consulting. There's a slight difference in that. So online courses is where you can give them step-by-step, guide on how they can go from point A to point B. So somebody is having a health issue, they want to get out of that. So what would be the steps they can go through to overcome that particular issue? If somebody wants to grow their business, what are the steps they need to do? So you can have pre-recorded videos in form of courses. That's the first part. Then coaching. Now coaching can be in two parts, in two formats. One can be a one-to-one coaching through Zoom, where you actually help people on a one-to-one basis. It can be like strategy calls and things like that. But I would say group coaching is better leverage, like through doing more webinars where you work with batches of people. Like even in my community, I do a hackathon every month, and in one go, I'm coaching at least 800, 900 people, and we drive them to take action. Like it's a 25-day sprint. They have to go through that sprint. So things like this is going to be very effective for online, for coaching. And the third one is a consulting. Consulting is more like in-house. So let's say you're a business coach and you want to work with a company for a long period of time, like 12 months, 18 months, to actually help them completely reform their entire business. So all these three, the training industry as a whole, I can see is moving in this direction. The hybrid model will evolve after the COVID situation gets better. That means there will be online and offline, both need to be there. So I think now is the time, when things are still in lockdown, is for you to strengthen that muscle of online. And when the world opens up, go hybrid. That means use even offline methods and online methods. Offline to give you that visibility and even that connect with an audience, which you can never. I would say it's different. Like even I do webinars with 1,000, 2,000 people. I'm looking into the camera and speaking. Yes, I can feel the energy coming in the comments, but there's nothing like looking at people's faces and speaking to them.
Yeah.
So we need a combination of both. So that's where I see things going, Suren.
Yeah, the hybrid. Yeah, perfect. I love the way you put, because last year we did 150 plus seminars across 11 cities, 6 other countries, and this year nothing has happened since lockdown. And luckily we thought of Academy in last December itself. And thanks to you for helping us and mentoring on the model. Without you, it would have never happened. And last week alone, we did 25 plus webinars at that. Last week alone. So we have pivoted online. So my mission was to take Success Gyan education to every household. In an offline regular model, no way I would have done, because logistically it's very heavy. It's not possible to do so many events. But online, I have a way where I can really reach every household.
Yes.
Thanks for actually showing us a model which actually can work, where we can take this education to every single household. And together we came up with a goal, and I want to tell the world about it.
Yeah.
Like future, we want 8 p.m. in India to be learning hour. That's our goal. 8 p.m. India should be learning hour. We do not want you guys to go online or see a news channel, listen to Arnab Goswami. We want you to open our academy at 8 p.m. Learn the topic you want from an expert free of cost. 8 p.m. learning hour. That's our goal. And thanks to that for really helping us shape that dream and vision, so that we can take Success Gyan to every household and make 8 p.m. the learning hour. So trainers and coaches watching this, you have no clue what opportunity you have right now, because it's the best time to go digital. And Siddharth, I'm going to dissect. The next section is very, very important. I want you guys to be very, very careful, because I'm going to ask Siddharth how it actually can be done. Okay, so that next question. Can you explain the process of digital coaching? Which means if somebody is watching here who's really good at what he's doing, is there an opportunity for him to go digital and actually make money? Can you explain the whole process?
I would love to explain this process. In fact, if you're watching this, just type ready in the comment box. Okay. See, I'm going to now break it down, and please take notes, because now I want to break it down. There are like, I would say 6 elements to this. Okay. I'll break it down to all the 6 steps. The first step of the process is niche selection. That means people need to understand what is that area that they want to serve their audience in. And when I did my research, especially in the space, there are 5 niches that are profitable. And because there are 5 major problems that you can solve in the marketplace. The first niche is business growth. If you can help people grow in their business, yes, there's an opportunity over there. 2 is career growth. If you can help people grow in their careers in their organization, there's a second opportunity over there. The third is health and wellness. There's a lot of people having health issues. That's a third space. The fourth space is make money. A lot of people want to know how to make money through stock markets, forex trading. They want to know how to make money through real estate, insurance. So if you can help people make money, that is that's a fourth area. And number 5 is relationships, like parenting and couples coming together, and that's a whole different segment. So there are 5 major areas when it comes to niches. But there is a catch over here. The catch is that if you are just any other dash, say business coach, career coach, this, that, you are going to be in the red ocean, or you're going to be competing like the sharks, eating each other.
Yeah.
So you need to get to the blue ocean. When I say blue ocean, is you need to go to a space where there are not many people doing that, which means you need to go narrow it down. You got to go to micro niche. So for example, if you say I'm a health expert, now you are playing the red ocean game. You're a generalist.
Yeah.
But if you say I am a post-pregnancy weight loss specialist and I help mothers get back in shape using the power of yoga, now there is a blue ocean, because you're using yoga as the method. You're targeting only moms to get back into shape, and you're focusing on weight loss as your main. Now that becomes very attractive. And that's a blue ocean. Now there may be others who are also doing similar things, but each one would have their own unique formula. So there is no competition anymore. It becomes into a collaboration mindset. So the first step is niche selection through a micro niche approach. The second step is market selection, knowing who's your target market. And that, like I gave the example, the narrower you go to your target market, the better it is. And if you're trying to serve everybody, you're going to serve nobody. You have to zero it down to know exactly who you want to serve. And even then, only then the potency also will be there in your, in your product development and all of that stuff. So the second step is market selection. The third step is you got to then start building your influence building. So how do you do that? There are multiple ways to build your influence. One is you can start to do videos. You can start to post videos on YouTube, go on Facebook Live. Second is you can use audio, podcast. So what I actually help people do in my community is, once they have identified their niche and once they've identified their market, I make them generate 100 questions that this target market is thinking about.
Wow.
I make them go to Quora and do research, and they generate a document with 100 questions. And those questions they start answering in the form of content, because they use all those pieces of content to build their influence and to start attracting the right people towards them. So that's the third step, influence building. The fourth step is, as you're attracting this audience, you will start to realize that this audience is having some very common questions that they're going in their mind. So even though you would have done your research, you would see some patterns. And based on that, you have to do your product development. Like, product development should again happen from a perspective of what courses are you going to be designing? What should your curriculum fulfill? If you want to have an element of coaching, what should that coaching fulfill? If you're going to have an element of consulting, what should that fulfill? So you need to go deep into product development. Yes, you can have like a basic version of it, but it will keep evolving. Okay. So step 4 is product development, and product development has to happen in 4 stages. You need to have a lead magnet, like where you have a set webinar where you can provide the knowledge. You need to have a tripwire, a basic course, a conceptual course. Then you need to have a core product, which is your implementation based course, and a profit maximizer where you do your coaching consulting. So when you layer it into a 4-stage, product or an offering in the form of coaching, then it becomes into, it's not just a curriculum design thing here. It's an educational business funnel. Like most people in the education space or in the coaching space, they don't look at the business side of it. They're only looking at the knowledge part of it. They think, okay, if I give a lot of knowledge, I'm going to be the best. That's not true. People don't lack knowledge. They lack direction.
Yep.
Like, you can go and swim in YouTube for 24 hours in a day, but you'll end up confusing people even more. You'll get confused even more.
Yep.
So in today's day and age, we don't lack knowledge. People want simple, fast, clear-cut, focused implementation direction.
Yep.
That's what they want. And if you can make your courses and design it in the 4-stage funnel, then it's going to work. So product development involves this. And I've seen many people in my community, they say, I have 25 years experience in this field. And my only thought to them is this here: you may have all the experience, but can you develop a formula that can help your student get to the result what they're looking for in the fastest and the most simplest and most sublime way? And if the answer is yes, that 25 years of experience has value. Otherwise, it is not about giving encyclopedia knowledge. It's not going to happen. So product development is 4. And 5th is the more, I would say, this is where the icing on the cake is. You need to know how to market. Because just giving the knowledge and not knowing how to market and sell yourself and sell the products, I mean, it's not going to really serve. And for me, selling is a form of service. I believe that people who pay money, they pay attention. People who pay attention, they take action. People who take action, they get results. So as a coach, it's your moral responsibility to charge people money for your courses, and you need to keep that in your mind. Because if you're just in the mindset of service, giving everything away for free, you will be doing a disservice to the marketplace. So knowing how to market it and being congruent in your whole approach. That means don't just pick a niche because it's profitable. It has to suit even your personality. It has to be aligned with who you are. I see many people, they just do keyword research. They say affiliate marketing is huge, let me become affiliate marketer. But they don't really have a passion in that. They're just going for it just for the money's sake. So it will not be long run. It will not be long term. So just to recap, the process is niche selection, market selection, influence building, deep product development, which is constantly evolving, and then mastering the skills of marketing.
I think, Siddharth, that was priceless. Huh? The way you've broken down as a science, it was totally priceless. For people watching it, if you got it, I want you guys to type, I got it in the chat box. That was really brilliant. And Siddharth, you teach people this, right? Where can people come for a webinar where they can learn this model from you? Can you just tell where people can come?
Okay, I do webinar every week. And if you can go to sids.co/freedom, you can attend my next webinar. I do a 2-hour workshop. It is not just like a 1-hour webinar. I do it for 2 full hours. And I break down the system to even more in-depth level. And I actually show all my systems. I reveal my screen and I reveal to you the entire ecosystem model that I have. So sids.co/freedom is where you can jump in and we can tune in.
For all you guys watching, it's sids.co/freedom. My team also will type that in the chat box. I want you guys to go register because you can attend Siddharth's free webinar where he's going to really break down the science and tell you how you can go on. Okay, next question to you, Siddharth. Who can be a digital coach? Now that you told the science of how it can be done, who do you think can everybody become a digital coach? Or who can be a digital coach?
The answer to that is that this is not for everyone.
Okay.
Even though the opportunity is equal to everyone, but not everybody can become one from a perspective of like, it has to be aligned to them. It's as simple as that. And so I would say the qualities or the traits that I've seen people who are successful in this game are anyone who is an expert, like who have spent some time on a particular topic and they have a passion in that topic, and who have the ability to present that knowledge. Like some of them even may not have the communication skills initially, but once they get into the practice, they're able to communicate. I would say the intent to serve, the intent to uplift people, and the intent to really help people grow. I would say if you have that mindset, then you can become a digital coach. And there are 2 kinds of people that I've seen in this world. Okay, just to break it down. You have a bee and you have a fly. A fly, even if you have a beautiful garden, it will go in that beautiful garden of flowers and it'll go and sit on some poop over there. It will find the negative thing in a beautiful place. A bee, even if there's a junkyard, the bee will fly and it'll go and find that one flower pot and it'll take nectar out of that. I would say who can become a digital coach and who should become a digital coach are those who are able to have that mindset of a bee and who are able to take the best out of every situation because they can use that to really give back to the world.
So I love your analogy, Siddharth. I love it the way you put it, bee, right? Yeah. I would also say, just add, they should be teachable and coachable because this is a process of learning, correct? You can't get it the first time. You need to really work on yourself every single day, then it can happen. So you have thousands of people in your community and you have a lot of people who are successful making lakhs of rupees every single month. Can you share 5 common traits of successful digital coaches in your community?
Sure. I think it's a very, very good question. See, more than the technical knowledge, which anybody can learn, there is something much deeper to it. Like if you have to really create an impact. And I think from what I can see, there are around 5 qualities that I can want to share. The 5 traits, if I should call it. The most important trait is being a learner, because the day that you think that, okay, I know it all, that's where the learning stops, and you won't be able to give anymore. So it's a constant journey of learning. So having the learning mindset, and to go a little bit deeper into this, those who are spending at least 1 or 2 hours a day learning would be able to really add amazing value to the marketplace. I'm saying even today, I listen to at least 1-2 hours of videos. I love to do audiobooks. I'm not too much of a real book reader, but I love audiobooks at 1.5x speed. And also, now keep watching a lot of videos of my mentors. So learning is the first trait. You got to keep upgrading yourself. The second trait that I've seen who are successful is those who have gone micro niche, who have really narrowed down and found that sweet spot for themselves, and which is congruent to them. Because there are many people even in my community who are not successful because they're just trying to be everybody else. They're not putting their effort to find that micro niche or go deep, or they feel that if they go too deep, that they'll be missing out on the market share or whatever. It's just in their mind. The third trait is, I would say, one of the most important, is being hands-on. Like you cannot expect to give in-depth knowledge if you are not hands-on yourself. And I'd say hands-on, especially in this space where I am, there are 5 pillars which you need to be hands-on in. First pillar is traffic generation. You need to know how to drive your own traffic. 2 is list building. You need to know how to build your own list. 3, conversions. You need to know how to sell and market yourself. 4th is copywriting. You need to know how to use the power of words to really, because words are used everywhere, in emails, in social media, in ads, in blogs. You need to know how to write. And number 5 is tribe building. You need to know how to nurture communities. See, all of these are skills which cannot be outsourced. You can outsource it later, but once you get hands-on on the technology, on the systems, it gives you the power to really make those decisions in your own business. So I would say the third trait which I've seen who is successful in the community are people who are hands-on. They know, they have built their funnels, they have built their websites on their own, and then they've outsourced it later on. 4th is being unique. When I say unique, see, for example, the products, what I'm selling, and my coaching system, the topics, they've always been there. Like affiliate marketing has always been there. Information marketing has always been there since 2006, 5. Like I know guys like Eben Pagan and all others who have been in the space, in the information, the Guru space, Guru Blueprint, there's many courses. And also consulting, coaching also has always been there. But then the way that I have represented is in a very unique way. I've created a new word. I've created a new technology. And the way that I've presented the information is in a very fresh and engaging way. So when I say unique, even though you may be in a similar space, because there's no information that is new in this world. It's always been there. It's just about the packaging and giving a great experience to your community. So being unique is the 4th trait. Presenting the same ideas in a new way with your own flavor, that matters. And number 5 is service attitude. Like you need to be in that constant mode of serving the community. And I did an analysis on this. There are 2 kinds of influencers that you can see in this space. You have people who are fame focused and people who are value focused. Fame focused, it's all about them. Spotlight is on them, how great I am, how many awards I won, blah, blah, blah. You look at all of their marketing will be fully focused around them. And there's, I would say, nothing good or bad about it. It works for them and their vibe attracts their tribe. But the value focused people, if you see, the spotlight is on the students. The spotlight is on the community. The spotlight is how I can help them grow. And in my case, what I do is I keep running surveys every month, asking them, okay, how can I help you more? Where are you getting stuck? And I keep doing these surveys. And once I see patterns, that becomes my task. I need to start building and improving my products to fulfill the gaps that are there in the system. And the gaps will always be there. So the 5th point is service attitude. So just to recap, having a learning attitude, going micro in your niche, being hands-on, being unique, and having a service attitude will bring you to the top 5% of this game.
Thank you, Siddharth. That was pure gold, the way you dissected it. For people who are watching, I think if you really get this, you got it. So that you have hundreds of people successful in your community, right? I always tell my biggest feel good in this is when you see people becoming successful by learning and adapting what you're doing. Can you share two stories which is very close to your heart?
Yeah, I have two stories. One is this guy called Purushottam. He's from a small town called Nanded in Maharashtra. He comes from a farming family, and he's a farmer. And then he came into my coaching system like over a year back. And this guy, after he bought my course, he had 93 rupees in his bank account. In fact, he shared with me his snapshot. And then he got into it because he comes from a very poor family and he's the eldest son. Then he moved to Mumbai because he wanted to make it big, but really he was not able to make it due to different situations. It took him a good 6 months of struggling. The first phase of his journey was he was trying to be everybody else, like any other affiliate marketer. Then he realized that was not the right space to be in. And then he found that his true passion was in making videos and things like that. And he started to create a small system around that. And for me, the most fulfilling part was when he sent me a snapshot last month that he made over 20 lakh rupees in 30 days in a single month.
Wow. 20 lakh rupees in 30 days. That's priceless. That's really priceless. Tell me the second one.
Second one is Sandhya. She's a mom, and she was a specialist in teaching maths to children. In fact, I also interviewed her. Her name is Sandhya Bajaj. Now, her story was quite interesting because she's been in my community for a very long time, and she's been struggling also for quite some time. Not able to find that sweet spot. Because coming in from the personal development world, she also wanted to train on multiple things, on personal development, on mindset, on leadership. And then there was also this thing, that side of her where she's coaching, parents, teaching maths to children and so on. And then through this journey, she's also attended Success Gyan events, and we've also known her. And the beauty about her journey was like she's a woman and she wanted to increase her self-worth. And she wanted to really add value to her family. And when I interviewed her in my Hall of Fame, she spoke about her journey and the kind of struggles that she went through. And her transformation was amazing because she's technically sound now. She's running all her Facebook ads on her own, which she has mastered. Wow. And she's great at doing videos. She has found her micro niche. Like she got narrowed down to the aspect of helping, simplifying maths for children. And she helps the parents teach the children. And the beauty is in 5 months, I think she did around 16 lakh rupees.
Wow.
That was a very heart-moving story. And she said, I'm literally in tears and I really feel that I'm adding value to my family. That is priceless.
Yeah, so that I really love the way you've really built your community, because today almost in my Facebook, I see there's at least one success story you put every day where you take a video and actually share their success to the world. So that's the number of people who are actually churning out from the community. And we're not talking about few thousand. Each of them are making few lakhs every single month, starting from actually nothing, just by following a system which you've created. That is really brilliant, Siddharth. Okay, now I'm going to ask a very crucial question where I ask every single person who comes to Success Talks. I'm going to start that question with telling that I have a mentor who told me a two-liner. He said, you become overnight success after 20 years of hard work. The world only sees the overnight success. Nobody sees the 20 years of hard work. The reason I'm asking this question is because I've seen your journey. 2012, what happened to you 14, 15, when you changed to Chennai, what happened, everything. I've seen the journey. Okay. And I know there are a lot of lows, worst lows, in fact. And how you've turned it around and today you've become super successful. Can you share that in brief? Your challenges which you went through and how that has shaped your life. What did you do? And today you're successful. Can you share that?
Yeah. I would say, the start of this journey was me losing my job. I mean, that was a very big moment because Vanita was pregnant. I was pregnant. The first child was about to be born and I did not have the resources. And thanks to God, thanks to mentors, thanks to the family support, within 6 months was able to pivot through that and start something. So that was the first challenge. And during that challenge was when I went into this insane learning mode, like going in depth into learning topics and buying courses, testing out traffic sources. And this is back in 2011, 2012 itself. So that burst mode of 6 months of in-depth study helped me set up that agency and get going in that first phase. And then I would say the next phase where during that in 2015, I actually suffered a panic attack. Like I was overworking. I used to be working till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. every day. I was learning a lot, implementing a lot of things, learning on the go, working on multiple projects. And one day, I mean, it hit me so hard in health wise that for 2 weeks I could not sleep. I was literally like a zombie, and it was one of those moments where I will never forget. I had to go and go for a complete Ayurvedic rejuvenation for 7 days, and it was more of a mental issue. It was an anxiety attack that I went through, and I think my son was 2 years old at that point of time, so anxiety kicked in because of overworking. I was not taking care of myself, and thanks again to my mentors and everyone, I was able to come. It took me a good 6 months to come out of it. Like I had to deep dive back to spirituality, get my mind back on track, get back into meditation, reading of scripture. I had to really realign. And I would say some of those moments, even if some of you have been through it, I think the only solution to it is spirituality. I mean, otherwise, no sane, I mean, it won't be able to get back to the sanity. It's like that. So I went through that situation that really helped me, understand myself on a more deeper level. And then the other part was, for a long time, I had a lot of, entitlement mindset. Like the problem was me.
Yeah.
I had to take that responsibility. I could not blame the world. I cannot blame the situation or the society where I was not having enough money in the bank account and this and that. Like there were moments where I could not, we had to think twice to buy in the provision store. Should we buy this or not? Because are we going to have more money or more month for that month? It was a very tough situation. So that feeling of entitlement and stuff all broke after going through these different programs. And I'm a student of all the Success Gyan programs. And all those bulb-on moments were happening during that phase. So many people are able to, now you may be seeing the success, but I'll tell you, there has been a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of heated conversations with my wife, and where even she was questioning me, and she's been my pillar of support. We'll talk more about that, but I just want to tell you that when there's no stability, whether it's in finance or relationship or in even health, it really affects all areas of life. And the stability comes only when you take responsibility. I think it's when you start to do things, when you start to drop the ego, because other people who have the ego, they end up being on that same trajectory for a longer period of time. So it's actually quick to make that shift once you decide that, okay, it's not working. Now I'm ready to learn from somebody who's actually moving forward. So I would say these are the moments, Suren, where many people they don't know about these stories, but these are the actual stories that have shaped me. And you need those dents to realize that we are after all human. Everyone makes mistakes, and we have to accept that fact and just keep working on ourselves. And it's a never-ending journey. Yeah.
I truly believe life breaks you to make you.
Yes.
Because every person successful, you go ask them, they'll have 2-3 such moments where something really drastically happened, it broke down, and from there on, they use that energy to really focus on something. They worked on themselves. And as you said, the key learning is take 100% responsibility for everything which happens in your life on you. It's not your mom, it's not your dad, it's not your job, it's not your brother, it's not anybody else. It's only you, not your partners, nothing. It is you. The minute we own that 100% responsibility, the actual flip starts. Thank you for that sharing, Siddharth, because I know last 2 months, we hit 1 crore last month, we hit 1 crore plus a month before. Our new normal is 1 crore plus. The world sees that 1 crore plus, but we know the journey which has actually happened. Yeah. So people are watching, is it possible to make 1 crore plus with the funnel which Siddharth is teaching? Yes. But are you ready to become that person who really deserves to make that 1 crore? That's the question. And I think everybody can do it. Thank you for showing to the world so that it is possible to be genuine, authentic, teach, inspire, have a very good value system with integrity, and still become super, super successful. Thank you for showing that to the world. Okay, next question. You shifted from Bangalore to Chennai. Before that, I remember the panic attack. You told me I was there when the panic attack happened. I've seen you through that phase. I've seen you through every single phase. I remember the time when you actually shifted from Bangalore to Chennai. I know what was going through in your personal life, professional life. and the shift. And you actually shifted because you wanted to support Vanita in her singing career. That was a big shift to uproot from a different city. And you said you're ready to become a house husband to support her. That's how much you value and respect her. So I want you to tell to our audience that how much Vanita has been a pillar of support and how much Vanita has been responsible for your success today.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't measure this in words, and I'm truly blessed. I'm truly blessed to have, someone like Vanita in my life to be by my side, no matter what. And there have been some heated situations. Okay. So it's not that, it has always been, she said yes to everything what I said,
It's not a fairy tale wedding,
yes,
let's be honest.
Yes. So I remember there was one of these moments in, before I moved to Chennai. That time I was driving a Zen car. Okay. So it was, you're sitting in the Zen, and what ended up happening was, at that time I'd got an offer from Flipkart. So Flipkart, while still I was in my own business, I got an offer from Flipkart to head some wing of their digital marketing, and it was a very good pay package, and it was at least like 7-8 times of what I was able to draw from my business at that point of time. So Vanita said, okay, go for it. This is like the good thing. I think we need to make the jump. But something inside told me like, no, this is not this thing. It may be very good right now, but I'm not going to take this offer.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the car. She was sitting next to me, and it was a heated argument between us. And she was like, how can you do this? I know, we have like a family and this and that. And it was like really, really heated up, husband-wife conversation.
Yeah.
And then I just told her one thing. I told her, Vanita, I'm willing to be underpaid for a few years of my life so that I can be overpaid for the rest of my life. Please trust me on this. And I'm glad she trusted me. Yes, it was that one of those moments. And today I'm glad that it is fulfilled. And in fact, yeah, she told me this again a few months back, like, yes, I still remember that day, and you've proved it right now that this is the case. So she's been a great pillar of support. And for me, because she trusted in me, I trust in her. Yeah. And when in fact, coming to Chennai was a very big move, because she's been learning Carnatic music since the age of 3. So she's really naturally talented in that. And Music Academy Chennai is one of the top organizations in Carnatic music. And out of 1,500 applicants, she was in the top 6 who had got selected for that course, in the Advanced Carnatic Music course. So for me, it was a no-brainer. Like I told, no matter come what may, your talent has to come out to the world. And let's just make that shift. So it was a very tough situation. Like parents are in Bangalore, families in Bangalore, had to move to Chennai. And I'll tell you, it's all God's grace. I wouldn't say it is just me. Everything was guided. It was all fell in the right place because of the right intention. And I'm glad. And by the way, the beauty about this journey was she came in, she studied for 3 years right in the middle of the course. We were blessed with the second child. She pushed it through in spite of the second child coming, and she won the best outgoing student award in that by the end of closing that. And that she's the number 1 in the top 6. Yeah. And that was a fulfilling moment of me, supporting her and she pursuing her passions.
Yeah. I remember those conversations, because once I had a conversation with Vanita and we were talking about you. I said, Vanita, you need to let this boy live his dream, because he's got more potential and he'll shine than anybody else I ever know. And thank you for making my words come true. I'll never forget that. And I'm telling you, it is amazing to see you shine. And for me, as I always tell people, trainers, I met Rajiv. And when Rajiv became successful, it felt so good, because somebody who's got integrity, who's got great stuff, today is making a big difference to the training community. Yes. And second, when you became successful, you're doing training digitally, you're opening such a big avenue to so many people. It's not only you making money. For tons of people who want to come into the system, you want to help them, inspire them to make money and be really happy with what they do. So it's been amazing. Okay. And I want to ask the same question with the same shift. I remember when you're shifting to Chennai, you told me that I'm going to become a house husband. I'm going to only work 2 days in a week and become super successful, when you are actually a nobody. Okay. And I'll never forget that, because today you do exactly that and you make 1 crore plus a month. Can you tell me, how did you manifest it?
Let's look at, I'll say 3 things for this. Okay. The manifestation of this was, first is the focus. Like what we focus on expands. I mean, that we've heard from all our mentors. And this also, my mentor told me, he said, time is not your most valuable asset. He said, your focus is your most valuable asset. From 2018, I started to focus all my energies into this. That is the first phase of the manifestation. Right from like I have a goal card where I know exactly how much money I want to make in the next 3 years. I wrote it down and on the way there. And when you start focusing on what you really want, that's where the magic is. And I'll tell you some of the things that I did to improve this focus. First is I unsubscribed from all email lists. I stopped watching YouTube endlessly. I'm a minimalist, so I decluttered my home. I decluttered everything. I like to have, I have very less things for myself, but digital declutter, physical declutter, like going more very simplistic way. And I started to focus all the energies on creating things and learning new things rather than focusing on the problem, focus on the solution. So the focus, there's a lot of dimensions to focus, which I was able to implement. That's the first part. And in fact, I had written a 14-page document when I was in Bangalore on my ideal day, my perfect day, from the time that I woke up till the time that I go to sleep, exactly how I want my life to be. And it's crazy. I would say 80-90% I'm living that right now because of focusing on what I really wanted at a very visual and a very descriptive level. At that moment in my life, it was the complete opposite. So having clarity in your vision is very, very important. That's the first piece. The second piece of it is something which my mentor told me. He said, don't be cheap on your journey to greatness. Yeah, if you want to be great, you cannot afford to be cheap. And I'll tell you how cheap I used to be before. I used to download cracked softwares. I used to torrent courses thinking I'm like overly smart, saving money and stuff. But that was actually not serving me. And the day that I started to invest my money, invest my time, invest my energy in learning, like during that phase, 2018, 2019, I've been buying a lot of courses. I've attended all Success Gyan programs, made all those, that really helped because when there is a value exchange, then what happens is, I mean, in my case, when there was a value exchange, when I would buy these $1,000, $2,000 courses, those courses would add value to my life and business. So it's a very important principle. Like many people, they think, okay, I want everything for free. That will not work. So the second principle, focus is the first principle. Second principle is if you stop being cheap, and cheap can mean many things. You know yourself. I'm not here to judge anyone or anything, but each one of us need to look into the mirror and look at in what areas are we cheap. You cannot afford to be cheap on your journey to greatness. So once you reflect on that, the third thing is again my mentor says is systems work, people fail. Yep. If people are let on their own, they are going to fail for sure. But if somebody can follow a system, then the system will work. And I have to just blindly surrender to what my mentor told me. If you tell me stand on one leg and send an email, I will do that. So it is about modeling people, not copying, modeling people who are successful and doing exactly what they say. So these are the three factors that help me manifest the 2 hour a day, 2 hour per day work week, if I should call it. Yeah. Focus, not being cheap, and following a system. That's it.
That is awesome. So that the way you dissected, for people who are watching, I want you guys to type focus, because I feel the man you're watching is king of focus. I've never seen anybody who's gone in so deep in every little thing he does to get the maximum out of it, and so that he can teach and replicate to other people. So that you're amazing when it comes to focus. I get inspired from you, the way you do it.
Thank you. I want to share one more thing here. I have only 4 apps on my phone.
Oh, okay. Boy.
I've deleted all the apps. This is one of the other elements to focus, because this is one device that can distract you. Because when you're working, and if in these pop-ups come and you open that, it's going to take you 20 minutes to come back to that focus in which you are working. So like I only have 4 apps, and I've removed all notifications. And sometimes even my parents, they ask me, why are you not picking up my calls and stuff? But I'll tell you that actually helps. But I return their calls later. Yes.
So you are a digital geek and you have 4 apps. Okay, I need to go back today and actually delete, man. Seriously, I'm going to learn that and just implement that right away. Okay, next question. Because we said 60 minutes. I don't think we're going to finish in 60 minutes with that. We're going to take a little more time for guys you're watching. Can't help it, because this is one man, I don't want to let him go. I want to really get the best out of him. Okay, I know you're a lifelong learner. We also spoke about this early right now, right? Lifelong learner. Because you do a lot of podcasts. I know you don't read a lot of books, but you do a lot of audio postcards.
Yes.
Attend a lot of seminars, like you come to almost all Success Gyan seminars. Can you tell people who are watching why lifelong learning is very, very key, especially right now?
Yeah. See, the brain is like, it's a machine. It has to always keep evolving. And there's a beautiful quote. I don't know the exact quote, but it says that once your brain experiences something new, it will never be able to go back to its old ways. Like it's that kind of an amazing machine that we see over here. And again, thanks to attending Millennium Mind Intensive and all these different programs, what I understood is that all of us have like a financial thermostat. So what I've actually learned, how this has shaped my life, is I was able to realize how to raise the financial thermostat. All of us have a thermostat. Your thermostat may be at 50,000, 1 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees. And actually you can shift that if you want. You have that power in you. And when I was powerless, where I did not realize that all these tools were there, life was in a very mediocre level. Like it was like a glass ceiling. I was not able to go more. So by attending trainings, by attending events, by going through podcasts and following the systems, I was able to consciously raise this financial thermostat. How? By just setting the goal, by just looking at, okay, you've done 5 lakhs. Okay, next I'm going to do 10 lakhs. Let me just focus on that. And of course, it's not just focusing like in The Secret, just watch the movie Law of Attraction and expect things to fall on your lap. There's equal amount or even more hard work to really move towards in that direction. Yes. But the fact is to be aware that anyone can change their situation if they're able to understand that there's a thermostat in every phase in life. So that is the first thing that helped me. And the other thing that learning, why lifelong learning is important, is because especially in today's day and age, new ideas are constantly evolving. That means in case you're somebody who says, okay, I have so many years of experience in some topic, I would not give so much weightage to it. Yes, you have the experience, but you also need to be adaptable to the new ways of how that same thing is evolving. So you need to consider even the future evolution of that particular game in which you are in. And that is why it is important for you to tune into podcasts and look at who is really, who are the movers and shakers in your industry, and tune into looking at what they're doing and see how you can model them and improvise it based on that. So for me, it is, I have very few mentors. Like if I have to say right now, I have like 3 if I should put it together. So Blair is the one who is bringing out the leadership in me, and I follow exactly what he says. 2 is Vic, who's from the US. He's a master of digital ecosystems and systems and traffic generation. So I learned that component from him. And a third person is Sam Owens. Sam Owens does, I think, 20, 30 crores in Indian rupee terms per month. And so these 3 people, once I have identified that these are the people that I want to model and become, like in taking elements of each, I'm not looking at everyone else. So that's also very important. The focus is also important. Yeah. And having said that, there's another thing that I do is I like to expand my awareness in other things, like other topics. So even though my core topic is building the next breed of digital teachers and learners, I've also subscribed to websites like masterclass.com, where I'm learning the art of writing books. I'm learning how music is made in movies, like completely offbeat topics. Yeah. Because sometimes if you're in your own world, you're like Dr. Frog, you're just sitting there thinking that is the only world. You don't know that there's an ocean out there. Yeah. So it is also good for people to do, for you all to go and learn very offbeat topics, like creative topics, because that will expand your mind to new ways of thinking, which you can again integrate learnings and bring it back to your core niche or your business. So those are my thoughts, Surendra. I hope it makes sense. Yeah.
Totally. Okay. Lifelong learning, and you model people whom you really want to follow, and you choose your people. I believe we are a product of our mentors and teachers. We are a product like that. I am a product of my mentors and teachers. Like you, I have 3-4 people where I model, I really follow them. I reach out to them, I mastermind with them, and it really makes a big difference. But key success criteria in today's world, you have to be a lifelong learner. LLL. Everybody watching, you have to be a LL if you really want to be successful. Okay. People always ask me, Siddharth, for many years now, can you tell one quality why he's successful? If you ask me, Siddharth, I will tell you, it is because of your spiritual grounding. If you want me to identify, I feel you have lots of things because of your spiritual grounding. I think it's really helped you to become super successful. Can you share about your spiritual practice or spiritual journey? Can you share about that?
Yeah. My dad was an alcoholic, and my mom was in a situation when I was young. I was 8-9 years old. She went to an astrologer to find out whether my dad will ever quit, because it was a very tough situation during that phase. And that astrologer gave my mom, the direction into spirituality. My mom, I think, gave dad Tulsi water for a good 2-3 years. My dad ended up quitting he gave up the drink in 3 years. And I saw my dad transforming due to the spirituality and intensity of the way my mom was implementing in her life. And as growing up as a kid, I knew that, being in that environment, I knew the importance of spirituality. So I've been reading the Gita since my childhood. I used to, facilitate children's classes during those days when I was 10 years, 11. I used to read that Krishna book and things like that. And then later on, when I came back from Dubai, I was also, conducting a youth group where we would discuss the principles of the Gita. We went up to the 11th chapter, I think, from first 11th chapter. Every verse we would read, and people from all walks of life. It's not a sectarian thing. It's not about religion here. It's about understanding principles of life. And we would read a verse and we would discuss and debate on things like that for more than 7 out of 700 verses, maybe 400 to 500 verses. We have actually dissected it and gone into it. So that played a huge role. Like once in a week, we would meet and discuss. So that's kind of set the foundation on the spiritual side. And I'm sure we both align on this. We are not, human beings on a spiritual journey. We are spiritual beings in a human journey. And the journey is going to continue in whatever paths that we choose. So this has played a huge role. And I have to, acknowledge my spiritual master also, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. He helped me understand what is true love. And true love is, if you ask me, it is not being judgmental, is to understand that every single entity in this planet, whether it's an animal or a human being, I know it is a very high level of thinking, but it is like every person every living entity is a spirit soul, and they are on their own journey of evolution. And it's just a matter of, helping people understand how they can connect back to their creator in whatever way and form. So I've been implementing some of these principles of spirituality. Even till today, I meditate in the morning. I do japa meditation. That is my form of what I'm inclined to based on the school that I'm under. So there are different schools. Again, many of you need to understand that it is not one size fits all. There are different schools of thought. And whatever school that you are fitting into, you follow exactly the curriculum that is given in that school. So I follow that parampara system. So my lineage goes to 3,000-4,000 years in the parampara, which I've surrendered to my guru. And it makes sense, because the analogy of this is like there's a powerhouse, and then you have, and from there you have the electricity coming through wires, and you turn on the switch at home, the bulb goes on. But what brings the electricity here are all the poles that are carrying the wires. So all of us are coming from the same power source. And if we can just be that pole to just carry forward that message as it is, without adulterating it, without adding our own, masala to it, that will really make it more authentic. And that's what will give the potency of whatever lineage. And there are so many amazing lineages that you can find in spiritual. So coming back to my, how spirituality has helped me, I would say it is a grounding factor. There's no doubts about it. Yes.
Thank you for sharing, Siddharth. My guru is Sri M, and
yes.
I believe it is because of that spiritual grounding, we kind of I see my life like a game. I see it like a movie. So in a movie, if you see a very emotional scene, you cry, but next minute you're okay, right? Same thing, right? So that's how I see life. So I don't get really worked up with what happens outside. I have an inner calm and inner peace. It's because of my spiritual grounding. Because I'm inner peace, inner calm, my outer world also actually works like that. So it's a very different way of seeing it. And the way you told me, every human being, every living being, everything has got a soul and spirit. That's what every religion actually teaches.
Yes.
Where you go to the core of it. And I hope people get inspired with what you're saying and follow what works for them. As you said, there's no one way it can be done. And there's no one side which fits all. Follow what works, and you can really live and manifest whatever you want if you have a true master by your side. Okay, we have final 2 questions. That before that, we have a formality here where we do a rapid fire zone here. Are you ready for a quick rapid fire?
Bring it on.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring it on. Okay, one book which has created maximum impact.
Thou Shall Prosper by Daniel Lapin, Rabbi Daniel Lapin. He's a Jewish priest. Thou Shall Prosper. Amazing book.
Wow, I'm going to pick up. I'm not read that book. I'm going to pick up that. Okay, a nickname of yours which you're not shared in public. Is there a nickname like that?
Yeah, I used to be called Chunti in school because I was very short in class. I used to be a wicket keeper, and I never grew for a long time. My younger brother was actually taller than me. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, nice. Your favorite superhero character?
Batman.
Okay, always. Yeah?
Always.
You have lots of people who are Batman fans here. Okay.
Yes.
Your one-line definition of success?
Success is not something that you pursue. It is something that you attract by being an attractive person. Quotes Jim Rohn. Quoted by Jim Rohn.
That guy is too good. Yeah, for the one-liners he's created, no, he's like too good. Okay, Vanita, your wife, we spoke lot about her. Okay, but if you have to describe her in one word, what will it be?
Selfless.
Okay, awesome. Movie which has created maximum impact.
Inception.
Oh man, how many times we see that movie? We still love it. Yeah. Of all your mentors and teachers, you have to single out one person. Who would it be?
Blair Singer.
Yeah, man. Master of masters, true magician.
Yes.
Your favorite hobby?
Right now, it is PS4.
Okay, I have no clue what it is. I've never been into gaming. So
PlayStation, yes. I love gaming. Know.
Your one-line advice to the audience who are watching this right now?
One-line advice is to have more than you got. You have to become more than you are. Jim
Brilliant.
Rohn.
Okay, guys, if you get it, please type in the chat box because I want you guys to put it in the subconscious mind. Okay, if you have to describe yourself in just 3 words, what would it be?
For me, it would be real, spiritually grounded, a leader creator.
Brilliant. Okay, 100 years from now, how do you want the world to remember Siddharth Rajshekhar?
The person who has reformed the education system.
I love it. Education, training, coaching industry, the person who's reformed. Brilliant. Okay, that was the last rapid fire. We're going to dive into the last 2 questions. For people who are watching, next Sunday is going to be a biggie because we have Jack Canfield coming on Facebook Live with us next Sunday, 11 a.m. So block your calendar, come for next Sunday in Success Talks with Suren. So final 2 questions, Siddharth, before we let you go. Personally, for me, I've seen you through the journey. You've done a lot of things which I get amazed and inspired, but something which you started now, which is really inspiring me, is the charity factor you added to your community. I know both of us have been doing 10% of what we earn, we give it back, that's fine. But you kind of inculcated that in your community where you made everybody spend 10% and do a cause which they like.
Yeah.
How did that come about? And tell me, what was the number which happened last month? So that the audience also know what you're doing.
Yeah. In fact, this is what wakes me up every day. Money making is one part of it, but I'll tell you this one, I inculcated this into the DNA of my tribe, which is having like thousands of people right now, where I make them commit to giving 10% to whatever they are making. Even if it's giving 100 rupees, great. Even if it's giving 1,000 rupees, it's not about the quantity. It's about having that giving mindset. So we've been doing it for many months, but I've not been tracking it until last month.
Okay.
So I just casually put out a Google form and I asked everyone in my community, okay, how much money did you give in the last month in charity to whatever charities you believe in? And I also categorize that into segments. Are you giving for food relief? Are you giving for temples, churches, and mosques? Are you giving for any other initiatives like education and so on? And last month we have given 45 lakh rupees in charity as a community. And
wow.
And I will tell you, not everybody has entered that form.
Okay.
Yes.
So the number is much more bigger than that.
It's bigger. From what I can see, I think as a community, we are giving more than 1 crore a month. I can easily know that because only like 300 people have entered that form where there are more than 2,000-3,000 people are giving actually. Yes.
Yeah. So what's your big goal in that number? What's your big goal?
So my first milestone is to take it to 10 crores a month.
Okay.
As a community giving goal. And my lifetime goal, what I've set for myself is there are 2 parts to it. One is I want to help create 1 million leaders, 1 million leaders. When I say leaders, digital teachers who are able to help people and build their own communities and tribes. And I want to create a $1 billion charity fund, which will perpetually feed and support all the charities and causes that I believe in, like well after I'm gone for at least 1,000+ years. So I want to create that kind of a system or a trust or something like that before I leave this world.
Awesome, Siddharth. I truly believe when you have a cause bigger than you, you're truly inspired to wake up in the morning and just go behind what you're doing. So as you know, I support Matram Foundation. I couldn't study when I wanted to study.
Yes.
Today, Matram has got 900+ underprivileged children studying college education, and I support Matram and a few other organizations. I had a school of thought few years before that. The left hand should not know what the right hand is doing. I used to do that. I never used to tell people what I was doing in charity. But today, I believe people like you and me, when we do it, we have to tell the world so that we can inspire people to make more money so that they can end up supporting causes which they really love. And I love the way you've done your community, Siddharth. Awesome, where you really got this invite. Well, your last question, before I go to your last question, I really want you to, do you have the card which you had when you wrote? Do you have the card? Which I really want you guys to show the audience. Do you have the card? Yeah, I know you have it in your wallet.
It's always with me.
Yeah. Can you read it and show the card? What did you write and can you just show it?
So let me see if you can see on the screen. This is the card that I wrote in 2018 when I was just starting off.
Okay.
It says here, I earn $1 million per month consistently on total autopilot, doing what I love, helping millions of people live a happy, prosperous, and spiritual lifestyle. And at the end in red, I've written, I promote the golden age. And I think we are moving into that golden age. Yeah. And when I wrote this, there was not much in my bank account, but now I can see we are moving towards this number here.
Okay. The audience, the reason why I told him to pull it out in the last is because I want you guys to understand, no matter who you are, today you're living in the world with just an opportunity. If you're really good at what you're doing, if you're really willing to work, if you're teachable, coachable, we have a system where you can reach whatever goal you want and anything can be manifested. So that is a living example, because when he wrote that, I knew when he wrote that and he was a nobody. And now we are clocking in 1 crore. It's a matter of time with that $1 million, which is 7.5 crores a month. Okay, so that's your last question before we let you go. What's your big vision? I know you told me about the community in terms of what is your real big vision?
To help a large portion of this planet get out of the cycle of birth and death.
Wow, that's a spiritual vision. We should do a separate Success Talks with Suren to talk about that. We'll do it sometime later. I'm not going to dwell into that. It's too deep to talk about it. So Siddharth, thank you so much for all the people who are watching it. I know you loved it. I want you guys to type in your key takeaways here so that you know what you learned. And I want you guys to really share this Success Talks because I want the world to really watch this. A man who was simple, still simple, pure soul as I started. The work he's doing is really impacting thousands of people, and he's creating a community which is giving back, which for me is such a noble thing to do. Siddharth, thank you so much for coming in Success Talks today. It's a honor, privilege, fun always talking to you. Thank you so much. Do good, do what you're doing in a real big way where your goal is reached and where you really reach 1 billion people and really impact. Thank you so much, Siddharth. Have a lovely day. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next edition of Success Talks with Suren. And you know who's coming? It's Jack Canfield next Sunday morning, 11 a.m.